Coming up on Varsity Sports Now, Ricky Galindo's career night helps Bismarck win a wild one in Fargo. We've got the highlights.
And we bring in James Simbrek of the Yankton Press in Dakota to try to help us decide who's going to win between Yankton and Watertown.
And Fargo is home to yet another top 5 showdown this week as Wahpeton travels to Shanley. We'll get a little extra insight from Eric Grover of the Wahpeton Daily News.
And as always, more big hits and more big plays on Jandy-approved Plays of the Week.
That plus Jandy and I make our picks for this week's top matchups. It's all just ahead on Varsity Sports Now. And how is everybody doing? I'm Jay Elson, joined as always by Jason and Darren. A lot of stuff to get to, like we do every week, Jason. And we're going to get going right now. Before we close the book on another week of South Dakota high school football, I want to give you one last look at what happened last Friday and Saturday. This year, Varsity Sports Now. South Dakota Rewind. We start in Brookings. Lincoln got out to a 20-0 lead on the Bobcats and did just enough to seal the victory 28-7. Peyton Quintanilla rushed 29 times for 215 yards, and Lincoln finished with 473 yards of offense. The Pats host Stevens for homecoming this week.
And no surprise, the number 2 team, the Roosevelt Rough Riders, looked sharp once again in their 42-13 win over Aberdeen Central. It was Taryn Christian again, 12 of 17, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air, another 91 yards with 2 touchdowns running, and that was before halftime, folks.
He's good. Brandon Valley played their best game of the year with a productive and healthy A.J. Garrow at receiver. All he did was catch 2 touchdowns and throw another. Drew Reinschmidt caught 2 TDs as well. And Brandon Valley dominated Washington 56-14. The Lynx going to the bye.
Big win for the Lynx. Watertown, they spoiled Harrisburg's homecoming with a 17-14 win. It was Jess Poppin who caught a TD, gained 82 yards receiving in that win. Yankton now travels to Watertown this Friday.
The 1-2 matchup in Madison lived up to its billing. Madison jumped out to a 24-7 lead. The West Central made it close in the fourth quarter, pulling within 3. Bulldogs do hang on to get the win, though. 24-21. Jacob Giles talked with us after the game.
Well, beating a number 1 team, you're always going to get a lot of confidence, but like Coach said, it's the 5th game of the season. We still got a long season left. We got more goals, and we're just going to keep working hard.
We hung on for life there at the end, but Mason Himmer ran the ball. We got us some vital first downs, and we were able to eat the clock up and take a knee, and I'm so proud of our guys and happy for them.
In 11B, it was Winter who proved to be one of the top teams in the class with a 14-7 defensive win in Parkton. Trace Meyer ran for 125 yards and a touchdown in the win. Winter hosts another tough team this Friday. They've got undefeated St. Thomas More.
Does not get any easier for the Warriors, and that was last week. Let's take a look at some of the top matchups on the schedule for this week, and one of them in the 9-man ranks, Del Rapids St. Mary at Dubrook.
Yeah, this is a team. Del Rapids St. Mary's been down on the downward trend the last couple of years. Josh Brown has been doing a great job running for them this year with Ben Bunkers. They're undefeated, folks, and they play the champs in Dubrook. Should be a good one.
Bunkers. There's always a Bunkers coming through that St. Mary's program. St. Thomas More, we just mentioned, at Winter. What a game in 11B.
Yeah, this one will go a long ways to deciding who makes it to the Dakota Dome. St. Thomas More's been rolling over everybody on their schedule so far, so their first big test against Winter.
Another tough test for Madison as they travel to T.
This one's going to be an aerial attack. This will be fun to watch. You've got Jacob Giles winging the ball around for the Bulldogs. In T area, Taylor Roman can throw the ball for T. So go out and watch this one if you have a chance.
And finally, Yankton at Watertown in a big 11AA matchup. This is going to be an interesting one within the ESD.
Yeah, Yankton started the year out with a loss against Mitchell. People were already burying them. They've come back and they've responded pretty nicely. Maybe not the most consistent team in 11AA, but they're gaining strength at the right time.
All right, let's take a little bit more look at that matchup. And for that, we bring in James Simbrek from the Yankton Press in Dakota. James, Yankton has looked like a different team from one game to the next all year. Why the inconsistency with the Bucks?
Well, part of it has to do with the reliance on the passing game. Some games Yankton's able to get it going, some games they're not. And if you saw Friday's game against O'Gorman, they opened up the playbook a little bit to try and make some things happen against the Knights, and early on it worked.
All right, James, Yankton has used a little bit of a unconventional offensive look last game. Tell us more about what they did on offense.
Well, typically Yankton's been your smash mouth football team. The last couple of years, they've gone to a little more pass. This year, they've had to pass because they really can't get a run game going. But it helps to have a really good wide receiver in J.J. Hanna, 6'4", 200 pounds, 3-time state place winner in the high jump, that can really create some matchup problems. They have a couple other kids that are pretty good receivers as well, and luckily they also have a couple of pretty good quarterbacks, and that's what they did on Friday against O'Gorman. They put all three of their top three quarterbacks on the field at the same time and ran some funky plays out of that to make some things happen.
All right, with all things considered then, James, what do you expect to see in Watertown come Friday?
Yankton's going to have their hands full. Watertown is one of those teams that has enough speed to match up with Yankton. I mean, when you have Shea Bratland, Joe Foley, Jess Poppins on the field, I mean, that's as much or more speed than Yankton can put on the field. So Yankton's going to have their hands full trying to contain those guys and get anything going offensively.
All right, our thanks again to James Simbrick from the Yankton Press and Dakota. Well, we've surveyed the scene in South Dakota, and when we come back, we'll do the same in North Dakota. That's next on Varsity Sports Now.
Varsity Sports Now is brought to you by Shields.